Welcome back to the Journeys in Business series. I'm Jess, owner of Jess Creatives, and in this series, I'm sitting down with entrepreneurs to hear about their journeys in business and lessons they have learned. Hey Amber, thanks so much for being here.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, so why don't you start off telling us about who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm Amber D, and once again, thank you so much for having me. So my business is I help women entrepreneurs that are first-time entrepreneurs. So you're kind of just breaking through on the online world. You don't know where to start, and I'm kind of that starting point for you. I also do a lot of life coaching for women, especially women entrepreneurs. It kind of goes into together actually, and I absolutely love doing both. But I do, like I said, both of those. So I'll help women start their business. We'll talk about what they need to do when they get online, like social media platforms that they need to be on, how to market themselves, how to create content, things like that.
Yeah.
For anybody who's jumping on into the online entrepreneurship world.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So, yeah.
Which can be a little overwhelming. Like
Yeah.
when I think about when I started a few years ago, it was just kind of like Facebook groups weren't really a huge thing yet. Pinterest wasn't huge for like business yet. And I was just kind of like learning the ropes. And now I feel like if I were to start fresh, there's like an abundance of content and resources. And I feel like it can be a little overwhelming. Like I see a lot of people being like, do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Like I see a lot of people talking about that. And I don't know. And people are like, how do I start? What do I do first?
Exactly. I hear that so much from my clients, like, oh my God, should I do this or should I do that? Like you said, like not really knowing what to do. And I kind of help them filter out all the fuzz stuff and like, okay, here's where you need to focus. Here's what you need to do. Don't worry about. And I find myself saying that a lot, kind of don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own lane. Let's just focus on you and what you need to do to move forward for yourself.
Yeah.
And I also tell everybody, like, start before you're ready.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of information, right?
Yes. Don't wait till everything's like perfect. You just need to start right now. So do you have like a marketing focus with your clients, or are you like the whole business, like strategy and ideas and all that?
So we do talk about marketing and kind of marketing strategies as well. Talking a lot about passive income and kind of how you launch your particular courses, products, or things like that. And I also tell people, hey, if you already have like 1 million followers, I'm not your go-to person, right? Don't come to me and say, hey, Amber, how do I get to 6 million?
That's a good question. Thank you.
And when you find that answer, let me know.
Please.
But definitely for all the startup stuff, because I felt like that was my struggle, right? You have so many people kind of telling you what to do, but not really showing you how to do it. So that's kind of what I do is I really take your hand and talk to you like you're a 5-year-old and, break it down into terms that you understand, until you grasp it, because I think that would have been that's great. I wish I would have had that, when I started.
Yep.
Because it's so much.
Too. Yes, there's so much. So what is your favorite part about what you do?
I absolutely, hands down, love interacting with my clients, my one-on-one interaction, whether it's one-on-one or it's in a group. I absolutely love that. I also love the fact of, a little background about me. When I went to college, I knew that my whatever I decided to do for my career, it would have to help someone's life in some form of fashion.
Yes.
So I decided I would not be just maybe like punching numbers, and not to take away any
Right.
who does that, but I know I would have to, that was my purpose. I knew that was my purpose. Like I have to directly affect your life in some form of fashion to see that. So when I see that the women, or even men, I've actually had a couple guys as well, but like to see them see results and actually seeing that they're creating their dream and actually living that out, because that's even a big step for people to decide that, hey, this is something that I want to do and I'm not afraid to go after it.
Yeah.
And for them to start seeing those results, I love that. I love that part.
Yes, that's awesome. So what drives you? Why do you get out of bed every day?
Like I said, I think that's so important to focus on people's passion and their dreams. And so that motivates me to get out of bed, because I want people to know that it's not the 1930s anymore. Like you can totally do what you want to do in your life.
Yeah.
And I feel that, like I said, that's my purpose. So that gets me up every day, to know that people can actually have the freedom to live their lives like how they want, to have time with their family, their children, and because that's really what this does. Even though you get to live out your passion, you actually get the freedom to do what you want to do in life, as opposed to go punch a 9-to-5 and you're like, oh, I hate my job.
Yeah.
So that motivates me to get up, because I know that, like I said, I'm directly affecting their life, so that they can do that.
Did you know growing up that you wanted to do this, like wanted to be an entrepreneur, or were you like, I want to be an astronaut? That's all I could think of.
So first I said I wanted to be a psychiatrist. So that's what I went to school for. And then when I found out, like, oh, you need to take more than classes than you thought you would need to take, I was like, okay, let's back out of that and let's go to psychology. So that's always been my passion, working with people. And so I got my degrees, I got my master's degree. And then I was starting my own practice, kind of working with individuals, doing therapy. And I started to see a lot of people, or a lot of women rather, that would come to me and say, hey, how did you start your practice? Or how did you get these clients? Or how did you market yourself online? And then it kind of started evolving into, okay, this is what I do. And that's kind of how.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I never wanted to do psychology as like my career, but I remember loving my psychology classes in like high school and college. Like I have always found anything like psychology, like articles and blogs that like talk about it in whatever capacity are always super interesting to me. Like I love learning about people and like how they think and act, which is kind of translate when you're working with clients. Not always. I don't really know why they're doing what they do sometimes, but it's that like interacting with people is super cool. Like that's one of my favorite parts about being an entrepreneur. Like the fact that we as business owners online get to talk and meet people from like all over the world is crazy to me.
It is.
Still. I've been in this for a few years and it's still crazy to me that one time I remember I made a map just so I could visualize it because I'm a visual person, and made a map with like dots that showed where all my clients lived.
Oh, wow.
And like I just did the US because at that point I pretty much only work with people in the US. There aren't very many international, but just seeing the US map was really cool. Like
that. And then, even though you're like living somewhere completely different, you have the same thing, right? You have so much in common.
Yeah, it's crazy. So if you could go back to when you first started doing all this coaching and tell yourself something, what would you tell yourself?
I would definitely tell myself to enjoy the process and take it one step at a time. Even though you think these people have overnight success, it's not real.
Nope.
It's a myth.
Nope.
And something that I did my first year, I I don't think I actually understood what it mean was, the term grinding or hustling. And I actually took it literally. And I actually would stay up all night, maybe to like 3 or 4 o'clock, get right back up at 7 and go again to 3 or 4 o'clock, get back up at 7 and go again. And I mean, like just pounding the pavement.
Yeah.
But after doing that for so long, I started to lose, my mental health, my physical health, all of that started to diminish because I was pushing my body. I wasn't listening to my body because I'm just going, coffee after coffee, I just need to keep pushing. And, because everybody else was talking about that's what they do all the time. And I have to catch up because everybody else is already here, so quickly. So I need to be there. No, it's totally not. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is taking care of themselves. Like mental break, like taking the weekends off, taking the evenings off, and then like physically making sure that we like are exercising and like not eating junk food all day. And
because it's easy to do.
Yes, right? It's so easy to do, especially like if when I go to the gym, it's like pretty much the only time I leave my house all day. Unless I am, running an errand, which is rare. The gym is like the only time I see other people and I leave my house.
Right.
But I just think a lot of people, we tend to put ourselves on the back burner, I feel like, and put our business on the front burner. And we lose sight of, well, if we get sick or if, we get burned out, then our business fails. Like
exactly.
Maybe not fails. That was a little harsh, but if we are sick, if we're not taking care of ourselves, then what happens when we get sidelined? Or, what if we even go as far as like to be hospitalized? If we are so stressed, I've known people who that's happened to because they don't take care of themselves. And it's just like, you got to slow down.
You do. And it's not worth it. And I'm really big on self-care. Like you said, like I'm so infatuated with the brain and how we work and how we operate and why we do what we do, and like behavior modification. And I won't even bore you with all that terminology stuff.
You and I can talk about that later.
But and I know, I'm not sure if you've heard the analogy before, but you have to make sure your cup is filled before you can pour into other cups.
Yes.
So if your cup is empty and your business is that cup that you have to pour into, it's not gonna, it's like you said, it's not gonna work. So
yeah, exactly.
Always fill your cup first.
And sometimes it's amazing how because I typically take Fridays off, but it's amazing how even if I just take Thursday off too and have that 3 or 4 days, like how different it feels just to come back on Monday.
Yes.
It was only one extra day. Like I didn't go on vacation. I didn't take a week off. Like I just watched Netflix. But it's like letting ourselves relax and recharge.
Yes.
And I think we are sometimes obsessed or caught up in the quote unquote hustle and just focus on the business, and which is hard, especially when, at least for me, when you're passionate about what you do, it doesn't really often feel like work. And it's like, well, what else would I do? Like, I could I could go hike or color. I love coloring books. But it's like I watch Netflix, I work out, and I work, and so it's hard to, especially like if my husband's gone at work or whatever, it's hard to make myself stay out of the office because I'm like, I have 3 free hours.
Right. What else can I do, right?
Instead of relaxing and taking some time off to just breathe, I just keep working.
We keep working. And, with electronics today, everything is,
oh my gosh,
you can grab your phone real quick. Why wouldn't I be on Instagram for,
yes.
or talking to people, responding to emails, because it's so convenient.
Yep.
So you have to be conscious about your time and your self-care.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wish you had done differently over the last few years?
Definitely, like I said, definitely wouldn't have did the grinding thing, the hustle thing. And that's something else. Like, I think some people take the word hustle and put a negative connotation to it, but I think it depends on the person. And like I said, I took it literally, right? And I was literally up hustling all the time. But I don't think, now I look at hustling a completely different way. A hustle can be just what you do, your 9 to 5, or how you make your income. It doesn't mean that you have to stay up all night and go, right? So I totally would have did that differently. I also would have been a little bit more prepared. I think that when I started, again, like I said, I thought that it was going to be a lot easier than I initially planned for, and that overnight success is not real. And I would have definitely taken my time a lot more, because the business actually grew a lot quicker than I had expected, planned for it, because I also wrote a book during that time.
Nice.
And so the book was kind of driving traffic more to me as well. So I wasn't prepared. I would have definitely said I would have prepared a lot better when I started. So that's why, once again, it kind of goes back to why I tell everybody, go ahead and start now, because it's nothing like being you know what I'm saying? It's never going to be a right time, but just go ahead and start now. And I think just taking the steps, the necessary steps to be prepared. I would have found someone like me as well. If I could have had a coach or a mentor to kind of weed out some of that fluff stuff that I shouldn't have been doing either, that would have helped a lot. And I think it would have prepared me for all the, you know, all the people that were coming in. So yeah, I would have totally did that differently. All those things.
So if being more prepared, like what would that have looked like? Would you have like gotten more like systems in place, or what would you have done?
Definitely more systems. I would have gotten a team. Once again, I thought that I could do it all. Which
we all,
I would have definitely vetted a team to help, because, you know, as an entrepreneur, you think, for me, I can say for me, I thought that, you know I'm going to have to be I'm going to have to do administrative. I'm going to do my finances. I'm going to be the bookkeeper. I'm going to be the one to create the content. I'm the one that's doing the coaching. I am this whole business, right?
I am everything.
I am everything. Here, I'm woman, hear me roar. But, so I would have totally had some systems in place and my team in place. And it doesn't really take a lot. I think initially I was thinking, I don't have a steady income to be paying someone's salary. And it doesn't mean that, you know, you can hire a virtual assistant to help you 3 or 4 hours a week, and maybe just answering your email, something as simple as that will take that off your plate, so that you don't feel overwhelmed and you're not getting stressed and think, because, you know, it's so hard to sometimes delegate things because you think that you're the only one that can do that, right?
Yes.
But I would have totally been more prepared, like I said, with a team, delegating some things, and just having being more systematic about my process.
Yeah. Was it a hard transition from going back to when you had your practice and then became a coach? Was that a weird or hard transition?
Actually not. I feel like they both kind of serve the same purpose. More just so with my coaching, I'm more so kind of telling you what to do, like this is your next step, as opposed as when I'm counseling, and I still do counseling. I mean, I feel like that's part of like my life coach kind of thing. It's like kind of all brought up into one. But when I'm doing my my counseling, my therapy, I'm giving you more of a chance to kind of let those things off, you know, that you're dealing with or whatever. But I really do feel like they both are kind of almost one and the same. I can't say exactly, but I use some of those same concepts that I do with my when I'm doing therapy. I use some of those same concepts when I'm doing my coaching, or, you know.
Yeah, I can totally see the overlap between those. Yeah, that makes
totally
sense. Yeah.
And I think it helps. And even though my clients may not know, they're being counseled. They don't know that, but you get some therapy. You get some free therapy in here, okay?
Yes. Oh my gosh. What if you could give one piece of really like tangible advice to someone that's starting out, what would you tell them?
That's a good one. I would tell them to one piece I would definitely have done. I would tell someone to do is, like I said, start now. Whatever it is, go ahead and start now and start networking. Oh my gosh, like
Working.
that is such an intricate part. I think you feel that, okay, I can do this by myself, and you can, but when you can get out there and meet people and make those connections with people, oh my gosh, it makes it so much easier for you to find resources, for people to find you, because you kind of put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And I think I've talked to a lot of clients, and a lot of people are introverts. I get it, especially if you're an online entrepreneur. You're, like you said, you're in the house most of the time. I don't talk to people, but actually getting out and being social, like I said, networking with people will take your business way farther than you could just alone in your house. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are, something that I've realized even myself is networking. It's not like, oh, hi, like, well, I don't really want to connect with them. Like, they don't need a designer, but they may know somebody. Like, I think sometimes people get so focused on like, well, why would I go to that meeting? Like, those people aren't my target market or whatever.
Right.
But it's like, well, you don't know when they may need, or their friends or their family may need a designer or whatever you are. And it doesn't have to be them literally using you.
Right.
Like and just, having a community of people, especially when for those of us who just work at home and you don't want to be so isolated. So networking is a really great way, whether it's like physically or virtually.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, because even if you can get active in like Facebook groups, right? And just talking in there. I've had so many people say, hey, that's a designer. And it's like, hey, I'm working with this client and she actually has no idea what she wants to do. And you were the first person I thought of. So do you mind if I send her over to you? Yeah, sure.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. And that was just in the, Facebook groups. So yeah, being active, like you said, either in person or virtually, is always a good idea.
Yes. So what are you working on for 2017?
So for 2017, I hopefully will be having my second book out, released.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that. I'm also I'm going to do 2 sessions of group coaching for women. I love the connection and basically have an accountability partner. I love that, and getting people to that's kind of me pushing you to network with someone, right?
Forced networking.
Right. So I'm gonna force people to
be friends.
Right. So I'm gonna do one of those in March, and again in October, November of next year.
Nice.
And also going to be teaching a lot more workshops, doing some more interviews. But I'm getting a lot of requests about people wanting to write their own books, right? So I'm going to be doing some more workshops of book writing.
That's cool. Well, if they need a book designer, you know who to send them to.
I sure do.
Just saying. That's so cool. So to keep up with these workshops and all that, where can we connect with you online?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at the Amber D, and that's the THE_Amber_D, and that's DEE. I know, right?
Just to clarify, we want to make sure they find you.
Just to clarify. And then I'm also on Facebook as well as the Amber D, and of course it's just all one word.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
No problem. Thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it.